Previously on X-Men.
Alright, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Bob here at Smirking Gun Reviews, back to talk more X-Men Dark Phoenix from the animated series from the 90s. We're on part 2, it's called The Inner Circle, so full spoilers if you've not seen this episode. So last we left off, and again, if you don't know what we're doing here, we're doing a deep dive into like how a 90s cartoon did in 9 episodes what 2 movies couldn't do in the 2000s and 2010 eras. It's mind-boggling how badly Fox screwed up this property and how embarrassing it should be to these studios that a cartoon was able to get it right. And a cartoon for kids that did some very grown-up things, and especially in this part of the story, where in the last episode we got a character named Jason Wingard, who's his code name is Mastermind, who makes these really powerful illusions and gets Jean to buy into that he's her husband, and they're romantic together. Now they dive way more into this in the comic, and it gets way darker because we get some very rapey vibes from this guy, and in the comic, it's yeah. Well, in this, we continue with that story where the X-Men have been captured. Jean's been taken over by Wingard. He has manipulated her into believing that she's he's her husband, and that the inner circle of the Hellfire Club have her best interests. And with her introduction to all these new feelings and emotions that a human has, the Phoenix is intoxicated by these feelings and getting more powerful and feeling more human. But in being more human and with these powers, she's become very unstable. And in this episode, we see that the Hellfire Club really, you can't control something like the Phoenix, but they're trying very hard to. And as usual, Xavier is kind of just kind of sidelined here because being one of the most powerful telepaths in the universe, he could very easily shut this shit down. But what they have here is he's got, but he can't get through with his psychic probe because, and even with Cerebro, that should be amplifying it very easily so that he can find everybody, he's being blocked by Emma Frost and her own computer. Now, do I find that a little bit bullshitty because Emma Frost she's powerful. Okay, she's done some pretty crazy stuff. But she recently, okay, she had to have a brain, she had this thing in her head, and she had to use her own version of Cerebro to change minds. So she's powerful, but she's not on the level of Charles. So whatever machine she's using, and they don't say what kind of machine she's using, she's able to keep him out temporarily from finding where they are. And what's another problem I have is that they never go back to this. But that's okay, because the main story is, and like I said, they take this longer story arc and compress it into just these 2 episodes. And so we've got the X-Men now. They've got the inhibitor collars on. They keep their powers at bay. We've seen these kind of inhibitor collars used on them in like places like Genosha, where those people are trying to use them as lab rats. And that's basically what the Hellfire Club plans to do with the X-Men in this, is that they've got all these people with powers. Now they can experiment on them. Because that's what the Hellfire Club kind of does. I mean, it's one of their MOs of like manipulating things to their own will, they could use the X-Men to fight their war if they want, or try to figure it out. But these people, they're so fucking full of themselves that they kind of are blinded by, very simple things. Their vanity and their petty jealousies kind of keep them from really taking control of the world, really, if they really wanted to. Another thing they've forgotten about is Wolverine. In the last episode, Leland used his kind of he can really control. It seems like very hard to say, but like I described it as what Scarlet Witch did to Vision in Civil War, where she used like a force to shove him down into the basement and the sub levels of the Hellfire Club. Well, they forgot, that he doesn't have a collar on, and they haven't found his body. So they send, a couple of the acolytes of theirs down to find him. And I love this because when Wolverine's down there, he's pissed. I mean, real pissed. And when they go down there to find him, we get so many great. This is a really great Wolverine episode, by the way, because even though the main story is Phoenix, he gets lots of great lines, and there's really great animations of him. So when they find him, there he's like, guess you found the body. Go on in. The water's fine. And he kind of starts going through the Hellfire Club's building, and he gets this right here, this great like Clint Eastwood line where it's like Dirty Harry, where he's like, "You gotta ask yourself one question, like, can you stop Wolverine before I get these adamantium claws made from the strongest metal on earth to slice and dice you before you can do any of this stuff? So what's it gonna be, punk?" And I just love it. We get all these kind of moments with it. It's like he never even gets to use the claws except on sticks and doors and windows, but it's always fun to see him get to like be, it really looks cool. And so he just starts laying waste to, floor by floor the guys that are in his way. What I was talking about with the Hellfire Club and their problems, they're their own worst enemies. Because Shaw starts putting the moves on Gene. Fucking Sebastian Shaw, man, this piece of work. He's really fucking powerful, and that's the other thing that I hate is that not only do I hate this guy, but his powers are very much like Bishop's. He absorbs energy, and any kind of like you use something against him, he just sucks it in. He like if you saw Days of Future Past with Kevin Bacon, or was that no, that was the first one. First Class. If you saw his powers in that, everything you basically put at this guy, he just sucks it up and then throws it right back at you. So like trying to figure out how to get around him is hard enough. But now he's putting the moves on Jean / Phoenix, and this starts a fight between him and Wingard, who's trying to say that he controls her. But also Emma Frost has a problem with Shaw because he wants her to be, Phoenix to be the new queen, and she's already the queen. You've got guys like Pierce who are and Leland that are basically kind of like hangers on the edge, trying to see who's going to have the most, power by the end of this. Who's got the upper hand on the other one? Also, meanwhile, then, and like I said, their own jealousies, but you get this guy here, right? They're like going to have dinner, and he wants his Chateau Calamari 59. Calamari is freaking like deep fried squid, right? That's not really a wine, but whatever. Sorry, buddy, you're not getting it because Wolverine's there. And, one by one, like I said, he's cleaning house. And we get some really good animations here from that as well. Again, like I said, their own jealousies, their pettiness is what's keeping them. They're fighting amongst each other. The X-Men are just kind of standing there while these guys just tear each other apart. But they decide, once, I don't know how they ended up having dinner with Wolverine, through everybody, but they're all ready to toast to Jean and Phoenix, and Scott is still trying to reach her psychically. And Emma sees this and lets Wingard know. So Wingard tries to get back into her mind to regain any control that Scott is trying to take away. But in the midst of this, Jean pulls, with her psychic link to Scott, pulls his mind into her and Wingard's illusion. And Wingard uses this to his advantage because with Jean's powers kind of amplifying his, it's actually making the illusions much more real. You could say, hey, this if Scott just stood there and said, fuck, this isn't real, just walk up to Wingard and punch him right in the face or blast him, well, he makes him think he doesn't have, his powers, but he really does. like I said, but with Phoenix amplifying them, she's pretty much making this real and making it more deadly. So they start having into this fantasy swashbuckling thing because that's how this whole Hellfire Club works, right? They're very 1800s feeling. So they're doing little pirate fights and shit. And he ends up like stabbing Scott, you know, with his little like fantasy sword and everything. And so Scott falls to the ground in the reality. And they're saying, how can this be? This is all just, because Shaw likes to never let Wingard forget that he's just an illusionist, that these are all just like circus parlor tricks. But Wingard, using the Phoenix power, says, like, well, once you destroy the mind, basically the body believes it's true and will kill him anyway. And we've seen this done in other things as well. But the problem is the whole reason that Scott was even in that fantasy is because of the link that he has with Jean. So Jean is keeping him alive, keeping this from becoming way too real. And so, sorry, um, they're like, well, okay, if this isn't going to work, just have the Phoenix kill Scott, kill the X-Men, get this out of the way because they're just a problem now. They finally realize we shouldn't have these people around. So they order Phoenix to kill Scott, but ordering the Phoenix around at this point when she's gaining more power and they're losing theirs over her, she doesn't want to do it. She starts to fight back. Jean's link to Scott finally starts to bust through. The struggle between the two of them occasionally gives Jean a slight upper hand, but not for very long. And it takes this next part for things to kind of turn a little bit for a moment. And that's the entrance of Wolverine. Wolverine comes busting in there like, here's Johnny. Like, literally. Like I said, this is a great Wolverine episode as well. And he starts fighting. Well, Phoenix, she just blasts Wolverine. And in reality, she could have just ended him if she wanted to. But the Phoenix is still, it knows its power, but with Jean kind of in its using Jean's body as she's not really going in for the kill yet. I mean, because we're all kind of gnats to her, and so she blasts him. And as she's blasting him now, she's seeing the memories that Logan has of Jean and the complicated relationship that they have. Because while Jean loves Scott, he's her man, which, for a lot of people, including myself, kind of wonder why. Um, because while I think Scott Cyclops is a good character, I kind of feel like I wish they'd kind of give up the ghost, or at least the absolute they never give up on the Jean Scott romance angle that they've done in the comics forever. And I just kind of feel like it's been done so long that it's like, why not give Jean and Logan a chance? Um, Even if, look, everything's temporary, let's figure out a way to do it because in the Age of Apocalypse storyline, Jean and Wolverine are a thing. It's pretty fucking cool. I know that's in a post-apocalypse world where Wolverine's lost one of his hands and Scott's gone over to the dark side with his brother. But I kind of want to see it. I'm sorry. It's been teased enough, but that's another story. So, but those memories, seeing Logan like through Jean's eyes, gets to Jean to open up and realize, holy shit, what am I doing? She finally takes over for us. But it's not for long. And like she turns on them at this point. They don't want they think that they can control her. She's had enough of this shit. So this is when Shaw and Wingard really start going at each other. And they know now that like Wingard uses this as his move to take power. And Shaw, being the guy that he is, like he keeps going to everybody. Wingard says, I want to take power from you. He gives it his thumbs down. He goes to Leland, and Leland's like, man, you've been making fun of me, making me feel like shit forever. Look you, buddy. And then you get to Pierce, and Pierce is just an opportunist. So Pierce just sees the way the winds are blowing. He's like, whoop, doop, 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 doop. So he comes to Emma Frost, right? And Emma's like, well, you already wanted a new queen, and now you got her. So on you. And this is what I'm talking about when we talk about Shaw. like a certain president, he realizes he's about to lose his power and becomes a petulant little child and's like, no, you're not taking this power away from me. I don't accept the popular vote. And I'm going to fight this and I'm going to try to take you all out because even though I was outvoted, I'm going to stand there and scream about it and try to kill everyone and go down, take everything down with him. And I'm sorry for throwing a Trump thing in there, but it was the first thing I thought of. Shot's just like with superpowers. Good God, can you imagine that shit? So when they start like fighting amongst themselves, Phoenix decides to turn on the inner circle. But then she's just kind of like, you know what? Y'all are just a bunch of insects. I don't really need any of this. I really don't. You guys are a bunch of... So she takes off. She blasts through the roof. Now, I would have just assumed that she took off and flew away, but that's not what happens. So she leaves, says, "You guys fight it out for each other," like. And so we get a really another great animated brawl where they send Shaw through the floor, and Beast is spinning him around in his legs, and Wolverine gets this great animation where he jumps off the balcony after Leland, who sent him through the floors. He tries to use his powers, but Wolverine's momentum is like too hard, and they go blasting through the floor. It's great. Gambit gets some great shots in. Rogue rips off Pierce's arm. Storm tries to like free Shaw, and Emma, well, she just fucking dips, right? Because that's Emma Frost, man. She's like one of those people that just, again, kind of like when she sees the wind blowing in the wrong direction, she's a survivor. So Shaw takes off and leaves with Pierce and totally does like a Dr. Claw, like, we'll get you next time, and leaves. A Wingard tries one more shot. He finds Jean on the roof, right? And he tries one more chance, like, oh, it's still me. This is the shot of top. Oh wait, no, it's not. It's coming up. It's me, your husband, and I can take you. Come back to the real. And she just turns on him like, dude, what do you think you're doing? And so she just turns it and flips the script on him. And it's revealed through her like wiping away his illusion. He's not this handsome debonair, if you want to call it that, swashbuckling looking guy from the 1800s. He's this small, weak, kind of shriveled kind of man. And it's all over for him. And she goes, you want to see what I really am? Since this is, you want to see some illusions? Well, let's break this all down. And she gets into his mind and shows him what she really is. And his mind breaks. He just snaps. He just is like this most powerful illusion that's just like, it has like, it's just like the brain suck of a lifetime. And he just falls to the floor. And this is when Scott arrives. Again, the power of their love, right? It's fine for this story, but again, I'd like to see it go in a different direction someday. But he's still up there. Gene, come on, we can get you out of this, but it's too late. This is too far. We're about to reach zero. We got 2 parts after this, and she's just too far gone. She fully becomes the Dark Phoenix. She calls herself that now, and here's the shot of Tyler right here. There we go. I'm telling you, man. Still want to be cast as Logan if you saw my MCU video. So, Snick. So Scott's up there, but she's just full strength Phoenix now. Dark Phoenix is ready to burn this motherfucker down. And that's where we leave it. We've got 2 parts left. And I'm telling you, I mean, it's even better than, like I love talking about it, but it's even better to watch it happen as well. So again, X-Men, 90s cartoon, knocking it out of the park. When a movie studio couldn't do it twice, I love the X-Men, man. I love them so much. I'm really digging Jonathan Hickman's House of X and Powers of 10 right now. Some of the best X-Men work in a long time. But still, watching this, man, brings it all back. And how we really could do this, man. We really could. But we insist on making movies. And I almost feel like I wish they'd just make X-Men into a TV show with a really good budget. Rather than focus on the movies, we could just have a whole other universe. Fuck a connected MCU. Just make X-Men their own thing, man. I would love that. So anyway, if you like this little review, please hit the like button, comment, let me know how I'm doing. Let me know your thoughts on this subject. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber. If you're enjoying the content and you haven't become a subscriber, join the fun. We got lots of stuff coming. We're going to be reviewing every episode of Batman the Animated Series after we're done with Dark Phoenix. into the animated stuff. We've got more of that coming. Hit the bell for all notifications. If you want to know when my content's up, hit the bell and you'll always know. I usually got a few videos every week. Share this video with people that you know like the X-Men the Animated Series. I know there's a bunch of you. I've found you on Twitter. I'm trying to follow as many of you. I don't usually send like messages because I feel like I'm forcing content on people when I do that. Maybe I need to get over that. But anyway, that's it. You can find me on Twitter at Yesh8. That is YESSHH8. Otherwise, you can look up Rob Stone, aka Smirking Gun Reviews. Speaking of which, that's all for this video. So have a great day, and we will see you on the next one. Hopefully sooner rather than later. So have a great night, everybody. Bye.